Hi friends, how are you? Today we are going to talk about teasing and kidding, and we're going to read a book called Just Kidding, and then I'm going to show you a PowerPoint presentation where we're going to decide if what someone says is like kidding, is fun, or if it's a mean joke that's hurtful for people. A lot of times kids and adults will say something that's hurtful, but then add in just kidding at the end, like it makes it all better. But we know that it really doesn't. It still is a hurtful thing to say. Now, teasing is different. When you're joking around with your friends and teasing, and both people are laughing and having fun, then that is okay. But it's when people are being hurtful and mean that's not. First, we're going to read our book. It's called Just Kidding by Trudy Ludwig. She's one of my favorite authors. She's read or written a handful of books that we've read in school. I like this one a lot. There are times I hate being a kid. Here I am, waiting to see which team will choose me for some pickup basketball, and the decision rests on a stupid game of rock, paper, scissors. We'll play 2 out of 3, says Vince to Cody. Loser gets DJ. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors. Ooh, think about how DJ is feeling. That's what I feel like, a loser. Like I've got a big L stamped on my forehead. Rock, paper, scissors. Back in my old school, my friends would joke around with me, but they never made me feel like I was the joke. Rock, paper, scissors. Ha! You lose, Cody, says Vince. DJ's on your team. I look at the guys. Nobody says anything about Vince's dumb way of choosing whose team I'm on. Suddenly, I don't feel like playing, and I start heading home. Hey, DJ, where are you going? Calls Vince as I walk off the basketball court. Home, I shout. What's the matter, DJ? Can't you take a joke? I was just kidding. Some joke, I snap back and break out into a run. I race across the baseball field, past a bunch of houses that line my street, and to my treehouse in our backyard. Jerks, I yell from the treehouse. They're all jerks. Then I sit there, thinking back on all the times Vince made fun of me in front of the other kids. When I first got to Roosevelt Elementary School a month ago, Vince seemed friendly enough. But when I tried out for the soccer team he was on, things started getting a little weird between him and me. Hey, Vince, I told him. Coach Dibbs said I'd be a great goalie for the team. Did you hear that, girls? Vince called out. DJ's going to be our new girlie. And the kids laughed as Vince pranced around the soccer field with a goofy look on his face. I laughed along with them because Vince was so funny, but it really bugged me that he made a joke instead of congratulating me. Yesterday morning, when I got on the school bus, I headed to my usual seat, way in the back next to Vince, Brian, and the other guys. When I sat down, Vince asked, "Are you wearing a pajama top to school?" Before I could answer, he started poking me with his finger, chanting, DJ's wearing pajamas, DJ's wearing pajamas. That's not funny, Vince, I said. Poke, quit it, poke. Knock it off, Vince, poke. Cut it out. Everyone on the bus got real quiet, and the bus driver glared at Vince and me through his rearview mirror. Vince looked all innocent-like and said loud enough for the driver to hear, Geez, I was just kidding. Then today, Vince comes up with his lame way of placing me on a team. I've had it. DJ, are you in the treehouse? Asked Dad from below. I'm too angry to answer, so I don't. DJ, are you okay? I don't want to talk about it. Well, why don't we just play some catch instead? I joined Dad in the yard, and he hands me my baseball glove. We toss the ball in silence. The rhythm of the ball going back and forth calms me down a bit. After a while, Dad asks, You ready to talk about it now? Yeah. So I tell him how Vince teases me in ways that I don't think are funny. I try to ignore him so he'll stop, but he doesn't, I say. Then I end up losing it, looking like I'm the jerk because I can't take a joke. I just don't get it, Dad. Why does he pick on me like this? DJ, you may never know exactly why kids like Vince are mean to you, but I do think it has more to do with what's going on with him than with you. We toss the ball a little bit more. Then Dad suggests we play a game to help me figure out how to handle myself when kids like Vince pick on me. He calls over my big brother Nick to help. This game worked for Nick, and I think it'll work for you, adds Dad. Nick? No way! Yup, nods Nick. The same kind of thing happened to me at school last year. There's only one rule in this game, says Dad. You can't say or do anything mean back to the teaser. Nick goes first to show me how the game is played and calls Dad Four Eyes. You're right, said Dad. Wearing glasses is like having an extra set of eyes. Thanks for noticing. Good one, Dad, laughed Nick. When it's my turn, I can't think of anything great to say, so I just act goofy and that cracks everyone up. The next morning, I get on the school bus and sit down next to Brian. Vince moves to the seat right behind us. I know he's up to no good. Sure enough, he starts making his move, this time on Brian. Hey, bedhead, Vince said. Did you bother looking in the mirror this morning? Brian squirms in his seat as some kids on the bus watch in silence. Cool do, I said to Brian. Then I mess up my hair even worse than Brian's and make a fish face to go along with my new crazy hairdo. The kids around us burst out laughing. Vince doesn't say another word the rest of the ride to school. Thanks, DJ, whispers Brian. No problem, I whisper back. I'd like to say that Vince stopped bugging me after that, but he didn't. I even caught him red-handed in class, sticking a wad of gum on my chair. When I told him to take it off, he laughed and walked away. So my dad and I met with the teacher, Mrs. Winter, and asked for advice. Mrs. Winter said she was glad we told her about the problem. Vince has somehow learned it's okay to say and do hurtful things to people. I'll have the school counselor work with Vince to teach him the skills he needs to be a better friend. In the meantime, she said, hang out with kids who make you feel good about yourself. It's also important to let me know if Vince continues to pick on you. But I don't want a tattletale, I said. Tattling is when you're trying to get someone in trouble, explained Mrs. Winter. Reporting is when you're trying to help someone in trouble. In this case, DJ, you're reporting because you're in trouble and you need help. So I followed Mrs. Winter's advice, and Vince eventually stopped bugging me so much. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to kid around with your friends and family, but I learned the hard way that when a joke has a sharp edge to it, it can cut you to pieces. Now I hang out with Brian, Joe, and Miguel. We horse around and have fun without making fun of each other, and that's just the way we like it. The end. I like that book. All right, the next part is we're going to look at some situations and decide if it is kidding, just kidding, like having fun, or if it is hurtful. All right, so we're continuing our lesson with just kidding. So when we're thinking about if a joke is fun or if it is mean, I want us to think about these questions. The first one is, are people laughing at the person or with the person? So think about the differences between that. If you're laughing at somebody, that's not a good thing, right? Imagine if you're laughing at someone, then the person's probably embarrassed, they're probably sad, they're probably upset. That would be mean, like being mean to the person. But if everyone is laughing together, then that's usually a joke. You know, as long as it's like playful and fun and everyone's laughing, then that is more likely to be a joke. The other one is anyone embarrassed or sad? If anyone is ever embarrassed or sad, then that is mean teasing and that is not okay. Here is some situations. So I want us to think, is it hurtful or is it fun? Mike eats hot Cheetos every day at lunch. One day, he wore a bright orange shirt, and Leah said, "Uh-oh, looks like Mike finally turned into his favorite food." Do you think that's a hurtful thing to say or a fun thing to say? You have an idea? I think fun. I think if Mike is laughing along and thinks it's a good thing, to say someone turned into a Cheeto is kind of a goofy, fun thing to say. Next one. During career day, a doctor was telling the class that doctors need to be really good at math. Joey said, "I guess Riley will never be a doctor then." That would be a hurtful thing to say. That would not be a nice thing to say, right? Because that is a hurtful. Someone would probably be embarrassed, kind of sad. So that lets us know that that's a hurtful thing. And I know that our Joey in 4th grade would never say anything like that. It just so happens that he has the name in the story. Next situation. Look at her feet. They are nasty monster big. What do you think? Hurtful or fun? I think that's hurtful. Saying nasty monster big feet, that would hurt my feelings if someone said that to me. So I'm guessing it would hurt someone else's feelings too. So that would be hurtful. So you kind of see the difference between hurtful things where people are feeling really sad and upset and like fun joking around. And even if you add "just kidding" at the end of something, it is still very hurtful, just like in our book. When even if someone adds "just kidding," it doesn't take the pain of the mean thing away. All right, that's all I have for you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.